Welcome to Community College Softball on Sportsnet, USA.net. Hey, it's the battle of the best in the South right now. Your number one team in the state of California. That's right. Mount SAC taking on Cerritos, number 6 in Southern California, number 11 in the state of California. So when you look at them in SoCal, it's 1 versus 6 today for both these teams, and it's Mount SAC up by a half a game in the win column. So whoever comes away with a victory this afternoon moves to the top of the ladder in their conference and gets closer to being that number 1 seed in the state of California here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Mount SAC is the visiting team. Chacon will start things off playing second base. Asia Chacon is out there today to start things off. Chacon, Coronado, and Goris will be the first 3. We got to see this team against Cypress a few weeks ago. A little slap shot hit in the alley, and it's going to drop. Asia slides in with a quick double to start this game off. So Mount SAC, a prolific offensive team, off and running. In the circle today, Samantha Islas for Cerritos, an ERA of 1.45, 13-4 overall so far this season. You look at Mount SAC, 24-3, 12-2 in conference when they come into this game. Coronado playing shortstop today. Ariana Coronado drops a bunt down. Islas takes it. She's going to take the sure out at first base. So 1 down. Runner advances to third. And Mount SAC in scoring position here in the first inning. And of course, the young lady that Corey Nalen calls a hitting machine, Brianna Goris, comes up. She basically took apart Brad Pickler's team when they were over at Cypress. A doubleheader. Mount SAC won both of them in extra innings. And the young woman at the plate right now was the answer to that. Takes the first pitch for a strike, fouls off the second one. So she's in the hole. To a young woman that knows what she's doing in the circle. For Cody and her team. The rock in the pitch, fouled away. A little late on that one. Goris batting .603, on-base percentage of .667, and a slugging percentage of 1.329. That's right. .603 so far in the season. Popla Isla takes it herself and so gets past that first task. 2 down, 1 on. Castaneda comes to the plate. Alyssa batting .435 for the season. Runner in scoring position, Islas. A lot of speed, a lot of movement on the ball. Castaneda has struck out 8 times, walked 7, 12 RBIs this season for her. Next pitch, high and away. Overcast day, just a few million clouds in the sky. Everybody playing deep in the infield. Big swing. Off-speed pitch, wasn't even close. Was trying to catch a hawk with a butterfly net. Was that difficult on that last pitch. Fastball outside. 2-2. 2 outs. Runner at third. Chacon starts it off with a double. Gets sacrificed by Coronado. Goris pops out. Runner at third with 2 outs. Top of the first. Fouled away. Rubelina Rojas, the head coach for Mount Sac. Of course, we haven't seen her the 2 times we've seen him. Asked today about her, and I heard she's doing very well. A brand new mother. She's on maternity leave, so we want to wish you the best. Enjoy that new baby that's in the house. High strike. So there you go. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. As we go through the first half inning of play, it's Mount Sac 0. The Falcons coming to bat here on Sportsnet, USA.net. And of course, when we look at that Falcon lineup, well, it seems like it's the same all the time. You've got that wonderful first base person, Richard Leduc, starting things off, followed by her close partner on the infield, Alyssa Sotelo, playing second base for Cypress. And then batting third will be Vicky Nahara, who catches for that Cypress team. And then if anybody gets on base, it'll be Brooklyn Bedoya that'll be in that position. Defensively, well, Grace Pison is going to be in the circle for that Mount Sac team. Pison, ERA of 1.33, 15-3 overall. And the defense behind her will be Castaneda at first, Chacon at second, Coronado, that's Ariana Coronado, at short, and Brianna Goris today is playing third. Arlie Coronado is in left field, Emily Barba in center, and Haley Moran over in right field. That's the defense for Mount Sac against a very strong Cerritos team. Want to give a shout out to Bud Murray. Still looking for Bud to be dancing around the field here. Cody's dad is feeling better. Eventually, one of these days, Bud is going to be out here bright and early in the morning. He's going to be fixing the field. So, Bud Murray, get back out here. We need to see you. Leading things off, Richard Leduc. Batting .390 and an on-base percentage of .500 for this Cerritos team. Quick count at 1-1. Pison, 5'10" out of Riverside. That one on the outside corner. The winner of this has control of their conference. Pison does what she does well. Starts things off with a strikeout. Alyssa Sotelo now will come up, playing second base for Cerritos today. Alyssa, the leading hitter, well, one of the leading hitters on the team at .347, on-base percentage of .404. Slugging percentage just hovering around the .450 mark. Infield comes in at the corners. Goris at third, Castaneda at first. Pison deals with a strike. So we've seen Goris over at first. Now we're going to see her at third base today. Sotelo stutter steps to catch up with that one. 1-2's the count. Cody Murray coaching from just the left outfield. Sotelo Hits it. Called quickly and taken right there by Asia Chacon over at second base. 2 up, 2 down. So Vicky Nahara now comes up. Nahara batting .298. 11 strikeouts this season, 14 walks, 12 RBIs so far. Takes the first one for a strike. It's got 5 doubles, 1 triple. It's been at bat 84 times, has 25 hits out of those 84 attempts. Fouls the next one off. Oh, and 2. Pison, a quick worker from the circle, the lefty, looking in. Just off the plate. She thought she had it. Smiles at her infield. Looks at Ariana Coronado and just gives her a big grin. Coronado smiles back like, yeah, it was close. It was close. High and away on the next one. Two and two. 2 outs. Nahara puts a little spark in that one all the way back to the wall. Goodbye! Oh, a spark. She might have been looking for rain, and that clears the alley and left center to give Cerritos a 1-0 lead.
That's a solo home run for Vicky Nahara.
So last time we were here, we saw a lot of balls flat in this park. The one thing Cody will say to me on that one, Mark, you can't say that was wind-aided. That was powered out of this ballpark.
Now batting third baseman number 3, Brooklyn Bedoya.
That was Vicky's first home run of the season for the Falcons. And that brings up Brooklyn Bedoya. Here's a young woman I love watching play third base. Brooklyn plays it the way you should. I mean, she gets down in the dirt. She stays in front of the ball. An excellent defensive ball player for Cody's team over at third base. Checks her swing. You look at Brooklyn, she's batting .366 this season, .585 slugging percentage. She's got 9 doubles, 3 home runs. Vicky's now chasing her. Vicky's got 1 home run. Brooklyn's got 3. Better watch out for Vicky. She's going to take that lead soon. Doyle looks down at Cody. So the Falcons jump on the board quickly on a lightning bolt in the alley on this overcast day. Bedoya swings through that. Pison likes to ride the top level of the strike zone. Cody's giving her batters encouragement to, hey, stay off that high pitch if you can. And they just can't. But not before one big run scores on a big bomb in the alley. 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. After 1 inning completed, it's the Falcons 1, the Mounties 0, here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Ed Ford riding along with Albert Robles here in a game that, well, depending on the outcome of this game, could change the rankings in the state of California and definitely change the rankings in SoCal when you look at where these two teams are at right now. The Falcons ranked 11th in the state, 6th in SoCal. And like we said, for Mount SAC, they're 1-1-1-1. Well, yeah, they're that good. One of the better teams you've seen. They double dipped against Cypress, and you know, you hate to say it. Usually you thought that'd be a 1-0, a 2-0 win. No, it was sort of ugly. You know, Brad just didn't put his makeup on right that day, and by the time he went back to the mirror, he realized, you know what, I've got the wrong eyeshadow on, and decided that, you know, next time he faces this team, he's just going to go with that plain, everyday look here on SportsNetUSA.net.
Leading off the top of the second inning for the Mounties, designated player number 10, Annie Gutierrez.
So Gutierrez, the designated player for Mount SAC, out of El Medina High School, will start things off. Get the defense for the Falcons in just a second. Gutierrez pops it up, it goes foul. Nahara behind the plate. LeDuc over at first. Sotelo at second. Miranda Diaz at short. Brooklyn Bedoya, the sure-handed third base person. Williams in left. Caps in center. And Marines over in right field. That's your defense for this Falcon team that's leading 1-0. Islas in the circle. ERA of 1.45 this season. Gutierrez. Little flare, easy taken there by Sotelo, who just saddles underneath it for out number one.
Now batting center fielder number 3, Emily Barba.
So Barba comes up, playing center field today for Mount SAC. 311 hitter. It's 19 hits so far this season, 8 RBIs in 61 at-bats. Barbara only has struck out 7 times in those 61 attempts at the plate, so she's good with the bat. She keeps it in play, swings through that one. Mount SAC is a team with a .344 batting average, a .527 slugging percentage, and 24 home runs this season. Strike 2 taken. 1-2, 1 out. 1-0 lead as we're here in the top of the second on SportsNetUSA.net. Strike 3. So the second strikeout
Now batting right fielder number 7, Haley
for
Moran.
Samantha in the circle. That brings up Moran, Haley Moran, the right fielder. Takes it back up the middle, over to Sotelo. Sotelo makes quick work of her here in the top of the second. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. As we head to the bottom of the second inning, it's the Falcons 1, the Mounties 0, here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Ed Ford, Albert Robles bringing the action. And I'll get Ed into a conversation in a second how big this game actually is, because we talk about RPI, we talk about standings and everything else, and Ed will tell you that Cerritos has played some of the classiest teams in Southern California, not only in their conference, but around Southern California. And then you have Mount SAC. Well, so far this season, they'll play anybody at any time. If Albert, Ed, I, and Corey all look good in skirts, they'd probably play us. Of course, that'd be a run rule game, and it wouldn't really matter. Well, one of us would look good in skirts. Maybe Albert Robles. You know, I've seen Corey in a skirt, so not sure I want to do that again. So Cerritos will have Guillen, the designated player, coming up here.
Leading off the
Maddie
second
Guillen,
inning for Cerritos, designated
batting
player number
359
12,
this season. She's got 23 hits at 64 at bats so far. She's scored 12 runs. She's played in 25 games. Cerritos himself has played 27 overall, so she's there every day as she takes the first pitch for a ball. Swings through the next one. Lefty goes after a high fastball. Swings through it. Maddie out of La Puente High School. 2-1. Patience is the thing for this Falcon team. Doesn't go after another high strike. 3-1's the count. Williams, playing left field, is on deck. Takes the complimentary strike down the middle. 3-2. Three-two pitch. Ball 4. So the leadoff hitter works her way on to first base. That brings up Williams, playing left field for Cerritos.
Now batting left fielder number 27, Nagasi Williams.
She's batting .365, 10 RBIs. She scored 15 runs. She's got 27 hits, so over a hit a game. She's played in 26 games. So she's averaging at least one hit every time she plays for Cody and this Falcon softball team. Goris in at third, looking to see if a bunt might get dropped. There's the bunt. Nice drag bunt by Williams, over just there. Beautiful bunt, close play, but she advances the runner. Nice drag bunt on her part.
Right fielder number 9, Haven Marine.
So Haven Marine comes up, playing in right field today for the Falcons. Haven takes a strike. Haven hasn't played a lot this season yet for Cody. Mount SAC has Jillian Molina warming in the bullpen. Trailing by 1 here in the bottom of the second. Speaking to Hera, hits it into the power alley to give the Falcons a 1-run lead. One ball, one strike, one out. Runner at second. High. So Pison's been high today. That's where she's at from the circle. Two strikeouts, one walk early in this game. Little pop fly down the first baseline, taken right there by Castaneda. So 2 down. That brings up Diaz playing shortstop. Miranda Diaz over at short for the Falcons.
Miranda Diaz.
Takes the first one for a strike. So 2 down, runner at second, bottom of the second. Falcons up by 1-0 on a big home run in the first inning. Next pitch outside. Goris at third, Coronado at short, Chacon at second, Castaneda at first. And a Mesqua behind the plate. That's the infield for Mount SAC here in this game. Pison shows bunt, takes it high, very high. 2-2. Two count. Fouled away. This is a confident Falcon team when you watch them. And it is a team that the brilliant young educator that runs them, Cody Murray, just adores right now. She has told me more than once what an excellent softball team this is. Just off the plate. She says they're young, they're vibrant. Mark, they like to listen and learn. And of course, when you have somebody as good of a coach and an educator as Cody, you know, I'd listen and learn too. Little shot, taking a second. Quick little flip over there by Asia for a third out. No runs, no hits, one left on base. As we head to the bottom of the second, it's the Falcons 1, the Mounties 0 here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Ed Ford, you look at this game out here. I was going to ask Ed. Ed, big game when you look at these two teams matching up today because the one that walks away seems to have that hand or that place where you're getting closer and closer to the playoffs. This is the time you want to knock off your biggest foe. And Mount SAC and Cerritos are nothing but big foes to each other.
Well, Mark, the Falcons took the first game of the I'll take that back. Mount SAC took the first game of this 3-game series earlier in the season and won quite handily. Cerritos bounced back in the second game, winning that game 1-0. So this is an important game, as you've been mentioning, in the South Coast Conference. Whoever wins this game will be in first place. Mount SAC would remain in first place because Cerritos had a game against LA Harbor, but that game was rained out. So right now, Mount SAC is a half game in front. But if Cerritos wins, they would be
a half game behind. Yeah.
Well, no, if they win, they'll be a half game in front.
Oh, they'd be no. If Mount SAC ends up, okay, let me look at what Mount SAC would be 12-3, and if Cerritos ends up winning their game, they would be 12-2.
Right, so they'd be a half game up.
Yeah, Cerritos.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, okay.
So, big game for both teams. And then you've got Long Beach City College lurking just a little ways back. So we've got quite a race this time in the South Coast Conference for first place.
And of course, you know, we always talk about RPI, Ed and I, and if Albert and Corey are on the air, they always get in the conversation. That'll be part of the conversation today because Mesqua takes 3 and says, I think I'll go sit down. because the more these teams play each other, Ed, and because of their records, their RPI is going to go up no matter if they win or lose today.
Very true.
That's going to bring up Coronado. He was playing left field for the Mounties.
And one thing with the slap hitters that they have to watch out for, back, what was it, well, more than a decade ago, you could actually have those sort of those feet outside the box when you made contact.
Slap hitter. She beats it, Ed Ford, and you talked about that. And Arlie Coronado gets down the line quickly.
Let's take a look at the replay on that if we have that for you. See if she does beat it. Yeah, we'll give that one. That was a bang-bang. Tie goes to the runner. So one thing we've seen, even though we show you replays, generally speaking, the umpires out here at the community college level, at least the ones of the games we've been doing, are very good umpires and do get the calls right.
Foul ball down the left field line. Way foul on that one. As we go back to the top of the order. So Chacon, who's playing second base, first time up, had a double in this game. Takes that pitch for a strike. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Mountie. 1 run, 1 big hit. No errors for Cerritos. Pitch is a little high and off the plate. We'll be back tomorrow here on SportsNetUSA.net for a doubleheader against Ventura against the Cerritos Falcons. Islas. High. Throw to second. They get her right there. So a nice sliding catch. And then getting the runner at second base. And you've got to like that play made at shortstop by Miranda Diaz, who comes in front of the bag, slides, grabs it, and then sweeps back to get the runner. So over to first base, and Brooklyn Bedoya, who I said just has hands of steel over there. Well, she does what she needs to do. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base as we head to the top of the third. It's Cerritos 1, the Falcons 0 here on SportsNetUSA.net.
We were talking about big races just a little while ago between these two teams. Whoever wins today is going to be in first place. Mount SAC in first by half game. But yesterday, big game in the OEC as Cypress College, and we were talking about this, Mark. We were saying Cypress, the only way they're going to get into first place is they're going to have to beat Santa Ana in their next 2 meetings and then make sure that nobody comes along and spoils things by beating them. And they took the game with Santa Ana yesterday, so that was, I think the score was 5-1. So a big win for Brad and the Chargers. So if they can win the next game against Santa Ana, that game will be at home, they can tie things up. So they will need a little bit of help. Somebody's going to have to help them along the way and beat Santa Ana. But I think we've seen this before. It seemed like last year, even though that was a shortened 20-game season, Santa Ana had that kind of lead going, Mark, for about 75% of the games, and then the Hornets came up and got past them. Then Cypress came up and kind of got past them. So maybe the Dons are that tank is getting a little empty. Who knows?
It could be. Well, they've got that one pitcher that they count on, so we'll see what happens. Caps at the plate for Cerritos. Caps playing center field. Alyssa.
But I think it also shows that you've got two conferences that are highly competitive,
Oh,
where
yeah.
you've got three teams here battling it out for first place.
Caps, bunts, it turns. Throw it first, they get her there. Nice little bunt again. So back-to-back good bunts, but better plays on the defensive side. That's a 3-4 putout on Caps.
First baseman number 5, Rocher Leduc.
And the OEC, three teams, Cypress, Santa Ana, Santiago, battling it out. So we've got some good races in two top conferences in Southern California.
Yeah, and it really is. We've seen a lot of the teams play it. It's been quality softball that we have seen. You know, nothing where we all look at each other and go, how are they there? Duke pops it up. Easy catch right there for Asia Chacon. And once again, it'll go back to what you talking about that, Ed. We already talked about it too. Ed Ford would change things around because of the RPI system and everything else, and add an additional Southern California team into the playoff to replace maybe a Northern California team that doesn't have a winning record. Most of us that have heard this think Ed is right on with that sort of discussion.
Well, it's just not pointed towards Northern California. That's the way it seems to be working out. But, you know, get the teams that have the wins in there and not, you know, somebody who is 7 games below 500 that doesn't get in the playoffs. I don't care how tough of a schedule they play. Play a tough schedule, you should win some games.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't tell me that Mount SAC isn't playing a tough schedule. Don't tell me Cerritos or Long Beach or Fullerton or San Diego Canyon aren't playing tough schedules.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Rio Hondo isn't playing a tough schedule. I mean, they have to face Cerritos, Mount SAC, Long Beach.
Yeah.
That's a tough schedule. They're above 500.
Sotelo puts a little giddy up in that. So let's see if she makes the turn. She does. Heads into second. Cody says stay right there. Stand up double here in the third for Sotelo. And that brings up the big bomber for this Falcon team. Young woman who flexed her muscles last time up.
Now batting the catcher number 23,
Vicky Nahara comes up and scorched a ball on a line drive over in the alley.
Well, a long single would be just as good in this situation to drive in another run.
Sotelo can move over at second base. Infield in. Goris comes in at third again. Castaneda walks in a few steps at first. Coronado, Barba, and Moran, the outfielders for the Mounties. So if the ball's hit to the outfield, we'll see what sort of arms are out there. Off the plate.
Well, from that doubleheader with Cypress, I would say the arms are of good caliber for Mount SAC. They didn't make a lot of mistakes in that doubleheader, Mark, as you well know.
A little conversation in the circle. Ed, were you surprised the outcome of that doubleheader, though?
Well, obviously the Chargers could have taken that first game, except for that base running error, which doesn't show up in your line score.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the big play where that run wasn't going to mean anything. You don't need to win 6-4. 5-4 wins the game for you. So I thought Cypress could take at least one of those games, but hey, they just made some errors, and whether those errors showed up in the scoreboard or not, it cost them the game.
Next pitch fouled off. Yeah, I was surprised. Because Mount SAC did the same thing back to back. They tied the game, and then they
Right.
basically, slapped him across the face a few times and said, okay, we're going home.
Yeah, the second game, even though both games went into extra innings for them to be decided, that second game, Mount Sac, once they started scoring there at the end, you knew it was all over, and the Chargers weren't coming back.
On the outside corner for strike 3. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. After 3 complete innings of play, it's the Falcons 1. The Mounties 0 here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Albert Robles, Ed Ford, the old guy here on Sportsnet, USA.net, is tomorrow Ventura comes down here, Ed, for a double dip against Cody's team. And you'll sort of wonder if they end up holding on to this game, how that might affect their play tomorrow against Ventura here on Sportsnet, USA.net.
Well, Ventura started off well. They just finished up their annual spring tournament that they have and invite a bunch of people up there to play. They are blessed with having 3 fields up there. So you know, not many places have more than 1 field. We've talked about down this way that you have Citrus with 2 well-lit fields, which they never play at night and don't play tournaments. Saddleback has 2 fields, and they're going to be getting a brand new field and spending multiple millions of dollars on that. Be nice if Cody could get 2 fields out here. I was walking out looking at the soccer field. Boy, you could divide that up into 2 fields. But I think the Cerritos soccer team goes to the state playoffs and the regional playoffs a lot. So, probably need that. But if some wealthy person could come along, and there's where the Norwalk drive-in used to be, and you just have that big empty parking lot now, chop that all up, turn it into a brand new soccer facility, and then you could give Cody some more room to expand and have 2 fields out here.
Ed Ford wheeling and dealing here on Sportsnet USA.net as Coronado puts one down the first base line and gets on.
Well, wheeling dealing so we can have a bigger invitational.
And then they get the runner. Okay, home plate umpire called the runner out. First base umpire said no. So we're going to have a discussion between umpires.
Now, the first base umpire is closer. So it would seem like he would get a better look at it.
Yeah, and the whole discussion is she gets there and then she takes a step. And what Cody's saying, she took a step towards second. So therefore she gets tagged going back to the bag. The home plate umpire said, yes, she did. He calls her out. First base umpire said she was just turning to come back to the bag and made no attempt to make a move towards second. So if you turn in, it's not like the old days, if you turn in, you're automatically out. If you actually make an attempt, then they would say, okay, I can tag you out. And the home plate umpire is going to let the first base umpire come up with the answer on that, Ed, because like you said, he's and the home plate umpire are going to say that's the better one. That's the better look.
Well, I'm sure Cody's going to get her point across, but let's make sure you don't get tossed for making your point to.
And now the home plate umpire is walking up behind, so he's going to say, okay, discussion over. Oh, well, I guess maybe it's not.
Oh, my gosh.
So Bud Cody is being that educator on the softball field right now, and she's trying to educate the umpire on what he should have called. I think she's saying chapter 2 would state, being an educator. One of the nicest coaches you would meet, and we like all our coaches that we run across, but she loves the young women that play for her. As the discussion quietly comes to an end and the first base umpire's decision is going to stand. So hit number 3 for the Mounties. And that brings up Goris. Popped up. Long fly ball, left field, that's going to be foul. And Ed, you got to watch this young lady against Cypress. Corey Nealon just said she's a hitting machine. Boy, she's a technician at the plate when you watch her at bat.
Yeah, she was certainly swinging a good bat against the Chargers.
Batting .603, fouls the next shot off.
Yeah, when you're batting .603, what else can you say?
Slugging percentage of .1328. Up tight on the plate. So when you watch her stance, she's going to take away a breaking ball if she can. She stands very high in the batter box. Very small stride, maybe about a foot to say the least. That's off the plate too. She gets a lot of body into the ball, but again, it's one of those people that has very quick hands. We watched her take one and just come over the top. And there she is, scorches it straight at the left fielder. And because it's straight at Williams, it's an easy out.
Anytime you can get a 600 hitter out who has that kind of slugging percentage, you've won a big battle.
Castaneda, who struck out her first time up. Looks at that. Islas with 2 strikeouts in this game. No walks. That one. It's going to drop, and that was a dying quail that nobody moved on. And all of a sudden, Sotelo realized, I'm going to have to go after it, thinking that maybe Richard Leduc would have moved it first. She didn't. Sotelo was so deep, it just sort of fluttered its way down into the infield.
Yeah, that was one where that was first base ball. I mean, what's going to happen if you happen to not get there and it drops right in front of you? You still have second or your shortstop at second base to take the throw. Well, maybe you can't get a double play out of it, but you're going to get the lead runner.
Yeah,
and instead you get no runners. So now you have first and second with 1 down instead of maybe first base with 2 down, or maybe even a double play out of that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no movement by the first base person. So 2 on right now for the Mounties, and this is what we've seen from this team. Find a way to get back in it. As Gutierrez now comes up, the designated player. Pop to Sotelo, her first time up.
And as many teams have learned over the last 3 to 4 years, you never give Mount Sac another chance.
Sotelo, that time, immediately does what Ed Ford said should have been done in that extra inning. She took control of that little pop-up for the second out. And that brings up Barba. Barba playing center field today for the Mounties. Deep fly ball in the gap. Goodbye. Oh, Ed Ford. Now you look at that play and go, oh my goodness, as Barba just takes it deep. And I tell you what, there must be a vortex in that spot out there, because that's where both home runs have gone today. So Barba goes deep and Mount Sac takes the lead 3-1 here in the top of the fourth. Three runs on another ball that goes up the gap. You know what? I think it's Albert Robles in the camera. Do you realize Cypress baseball, all the balls that get hit out there go towards our camera that you set up? Realize today the camera that you set up, all the home runs go to that camera out there. You know what? I think Albert puts a little whammy on what's going on where he sets up the camera. And Albert's going to contemplate on this now. Go, boy, if I could do that, I'm going to set up a camera at Dodger Stadium. As that brings up Moran, the right fielder, and now Mount Sac takes a 3-1 lead here in the fourth inning.
Well, too late. The damage has been done, but he has to get out of this inning and knock this runner down and then see what the offense can do. Because you don't want a base hit here and then Mount Sac starts adding, another run and another run.
Fouled away, ball's dropped, throw to first and get her on the strikeout. But not before Barba just says, well, hey, Nahara, I can do anything you can do. And she did it just a little 3 times bigger as 3 runs come in on that one. 3 hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. As we head to bottom of the 4, well, now it's the Mounties 3. The Falcons 1 here on Sportsnet USA. .net. Tomorrow, Ventura comes. Ed Ford and I will be here for a doubleheader on Sportsnet USA .net. So make sure you tune in at 12 o'clock tomorrow and see how that goes on. But until then, we still got a very close game here through 3.5 innings of play.
Yeah, Ventura started off very well this year. They were high in the RPI and high in the rankings, but they have slipped a bit since then. Matter of fact, in their conference, and they are in the Western State Athletic, I think that's the North. The way they have it is so strange because, I'm sorry, the whole thing with Bakersfield makes no sense. And, I know nothing's ever going to be done about that, and Bakersfield really campaigns to stay in Southern California, but as I've always mentioned, Taft geographically is south and west of Bakersfield, and they're in the north. Yeah. Okay, explain that one to me, all you geography majors who draw up who's in north and south in the CCCAA.
Brooklyn Bedoya comes up. Bedoya struck out her first time up. So Pison gets a reprieve. Now has the lead in this game. Bedoya swings through that one. Mount Sac ranked number 1 in the state, number 1 in SoCal. Gives us a reason why with a 3-1 lead. Bedoya, high and outside. Cerritos batting .320 as a team. Bedoya scorch, down on the knees, over at first on a great stop by Ariana Coronado, who goes down, slides on the dirt, but Bedoya is just a little too quick and gets a base hit.
Yeah, quite an effort to get a glove on that and stop it, but more than likely that was going to be, you're going to have an infield single there unless you had a really slow runner.
So designated player, Maddie Guillen comes up.
Now, I'm not sure Corey Nailing could have beat that one out, but probably not.
No, I don't think
They
so.
probably could have thrown around the infield a couple of times and then still flipped it over to first and get him.
Yeah. And then Corey would have had to stop to take his inhaler at least once. So I think what we're going to do is
So quickly back to the Ventura thing. Tomorrow, 2 games against Cerritos, and Ventura is now behind, not Palomar. Moore Park has overtaken Ventura in the Western State Athletic North, I believe that is. So Moore Park, always a team that's hanging around trying to get into the playoffs, and this might be the year they get in there.
Ariana Hamilton now comes up to pinch hit. So Guillen took a pitch, and then Hamilton comes up and takes her place. Of course, she inherits that first strike from Guillen. Hamilton squares, drops it down, throw it to first base, and the runner advances. So nice little sacrifice.
Yeah, we saw a good sacrifice there. It seemed like, and I know what you normally say, Mark, but in the baseball game we did earlier this week, some people had some problems punting. It's funny that we'll wait till we get a pitch here.
Williams comes up. Slap hitter.
But the Fullerton College baseball coach, and we're talking before Nick Fiscardo, and I know that goes way back, but Mike Scoba, who I had a chance to be in some of his classes, he taught bunting a much different way.
Williams fouls that off.
From what I was watching yesterday, all these guys were trying to do this or something like that. Mike Scoba always taught that you have the bat at more of a 45-degree angle to deaden the ball and not have it where, it's parallel to the ground.
Williams fouls that one off accidentally. 0-2 count on her.
And back then, the players were a bit better at bunting than they are now. And I mean, I know what Albert said, and it's true. I mean, that's just the way the game has changed. But if you need people to bunt, send somebody up to the plate who can bunt in a real crucial situation in baseball.
Williams takes that for a strike. Strikes out.
And we'll watch the replay on that. Just freezes her and gets the inside part of the plate.
Fourth strikeout for Pison, so averaging 1 strikeout an inning.
And Mark, it looks like she's getting stronger out there now. Throwing with a little more velocity, a little more push off in her legs.
Marine couldn't even catch up with that one.
Nothing like a 3-run home run to
get your team going, right?
Get your team going, get you pumped up out there in the circle.
3
Whoa.
pitches, and that's it. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. Well, we're through 4 innings of play. It's Mount Sac 3, Cerritos 1 here on Sportsnet USA.net. Ed Ford, Albert Robles here on Sportsnet USA.net. As we look at some of the things that were talked about. And of course, before this game started today, a young woman had passed away that Cody knew, Joan Joyce, one of the better players in softball. You realize Joan's career ERA was 0.09. She had 50 perfect games in her career, 150 no-hitters in her career. She was an 8-time national champion. She did strike out Ted Williams. She played basketball, golf, and volleyball. She was on the national basketball team in 64 and 65. She actually had set the record for most points by a woman in a basketball game with 67. Then she went back to play softball. She played for the Briquettes from 54 to 63. Then the Orange Lionettes, 64 to 66. Back to the Briquettes, 67 to 75. And then she played on the LPGA for a while. In her 11-year span, 150 no-hitters, 50 perfect games, ERA of 0.09, 42 wins, single season record with 38 shutouts. And she pitched 29 innings in 1 single game.
And it's too bad that softball was an Olympic sport for her.
Exactly, Ed. Oh, tell me about it, So she passed away, one of the greats in the game of softball.
And, it's just not a monetary thing, but take her, Mark, and put her into this era. Think of all the endorsements she would have had, and it would have just been crazy.
So we have a pinch hitter, Alyssa Gonzalez from Chino's Hills.
And the Lionettes were quite the team
back
in their time. Quite the team. A lot of excellent players. And I'd say unheralded players that were really outstanding softball players, but it was just a time when people weren't paying attention to it. Not that people pay enough attention to it now, but then it was just not even covered.
Salas. Just a little easy little floater taken right there by Miranda Diaz for the first out. Yeah, Ed, actually I had my third grade teacher played for the Orange Lionettes, Mrs. Bielefeld. She was a pitcher for them. So when they played the male and female educators against each other at Lincoln Elementary School, she'd get into the circle. Most of the men would just sort of stand there and watch the pitches.
Lincoln Elementary.
That's right, Lincoln Elementary in the old days.
I know where that is.
Coronado comes up. Had a single in the 3rd inning.
We're just a couple of old-time Anaheim, couple what used to be East Anaheim, you know?
Yeah.
Now Anaheim stretches for miles and miles past the old East Anaheim. So you've got the East End boys here.
That's it. In the old days. Actually, when there were orange trees still in Orange County.
Yeah. And some strawberry fields here and there in Anaheim, Placentia and Fullerton.
Bedoya with great hands at third, takes that slap shot at her for the second out of the inning. Brooklyn, an excellent third base person. Great hands, soft hands, quick feet. So it takes us back to the top of the order. Asia Chacon playing second base for the Mounties. Cool day here in Cerritos at Nancy Kelly Field.
Yeah, Monday we have all that rain, torrential downpour, and I was even wondering if there was going to be rain on Tuesday, but no, it's nice and sunny, and we have sunny skies for that baseball game with Cerritos College and Irvine Valley, and then today it's overcast.
So, quick 3 strikes.
Almost looks like it's going to rain.
Let's hope not.
No, yes, let's hope
Let's
not.
hope not. I can't move that fast anymore. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. As we head to bottom of the 5, number 5th, bottom of 5. Yeah, the 5th inning. That's what it is. When you look at it, it's Mount Sac 3, Cerritos 1 here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Ed Ford, Albert Robles, and the old guy here right now. And of course, you know, I talked about Joan and Corey. Ed, you talk about Cody. I mean, you talk about legends of their time. You look at Cody as the young woman that leads this team, and you take everything that she has done over her years, couple state championships here, many conference wins that she's had, Coaches of the Year. What a stalwart educator and coach for this Falcon team. I mean, this is really a young woman that understands the game of softball and has played it well, played pro softball. And that's part of her lineage here at Cerritos College.
Yeah, and we're gonna duck in some scores for you once we get going here.
Diaz coming to the plate. Cerritos looking to get a runner on base. One and one's the count.
Well, Miss Diaz needs to get a hit here for me, since we sort of visited on Sunday when we ran into each other.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah. A very small world.
Off the plate.
I mean, you talk about them being student athletes. She plays a doubleheader that day, and then the next day she's at work.
Yeah.
And it's not the late shift; it's the early in the morning shift. So that takes a lot of stamina to study and get grades and come out here and play softball, play a doubleheader, then go to work the next day. Hey, a walk, that's just as good.
There
She
you
gets
go.
on base.
So that walk was for Ed Ford here on SportsNetUSA.net.
And while we have a chance, let's get some scores for you. One of our OEC teams, Riverside, playing one of the South Coast Conference teams, East Los Angeles, and Riverside beats ELAC today by a score of 8-5. Up north, American River and Sacramento City College. American River takes the first game 5-4. Sac City leads in the top of the third by a score of 7-4. And we're going to have a pitching change also. While that's going on, we'll give you some more scores here. Ventura will be coming into this game, coming into the games tomorrow. They beat Santa Monica, matter of fact, 11-0, shutout, no-hitter, 4 errors on Santa Monica's part. Glendale is beating LA Valley in the top of, make that in the bottom of the 7th inning. That score is 8-4. And Long Beach and Rio Hondo will be playing. We have no score on that yet. Bottom of the 1st inning, LA Harbor and El Camino, also no score.
So Serena Navarrete now in the circle for Mount Sac. Alyssa Capps comes up. 4'11" softball player. Alyssa. Looks like she was going to bunt, doesn't? Got to realize Alyssa comes from a softball family. Her mom played softball at Oregon State University. Capps drops it down. It's not to be a quick throw at first. Ball gets away. And so runners at first and third. It was going to be bang, bang at first base. And they give Capps a base hit officially.
We'll watch it one more time. Here comes the throw in. It gets away and heads up base running and also using your head and staying on first base and not trying to get to second.
So Richard Leduc comes up to the plate. Takes a strike. When she was in the Del Rio League, Richard was the pitcher of the year when she used to be in the circle with an ERA of 1.20. Little quick flip over to second. Back to first. Double play. 4-6-3. Double play, but the run scores. No RBI on the play. So it's 3-2 here in the bottom of 5. The Falcons pecking their way back. High fly ball, deep left field. It's foul, and it would have just been a great stand-up double. Oh, 2. Sotelo swings over the top of that one. But Cerritos gets a little bit closer. 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. At the end of 5, it's the Mounties 3, the Falcons 2 here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Well, this is what we expected, Ed. 2 of the top teams in California, 1 and 6 in Southern California when you look at them. And like you said, winner, not a chicken dinner, but you get to stay in first place. If you're Mount Sac and if you're Cerritos, you get to go into first place. Hear of that. And these will be 2 teams that either way you look at it, Ed, I mean, if you had to say, what, out of all the teams you've got to see play this year, is there a clear-cut favorite? that could, at least from the South, that you would say, oh, this is a team that would probably win? Or is it one of those things that there's maybe 7 teams right now in the South that could win the state championship?
I would say that that's an accurate statement, but I think at this point you still have to give Mount SAC the edge. I mean, they've proven what they can do. They are the defending state champions, and until somebody knocks them off, then everybody can do the talking. But Mount SAC is the team that's done the talking and the walking. So, Cypress is right up there. We've seen them play a couple of times. Santa Ana, if they can keep their pitching going, and this Cerritos team, what Megan's done over at Long Beach, Palomar, yeah, it's about 7 teams, I would say. I'll have to recount those with my fingers again, see if I got that right. I might have only mentioned 6.
Coronado comes to the plate. Had a single in the 4th. That's when Mount SAC took this lead. Sacrificed her first time up. So she's 1 for 2 in today's game. High pitch on that one. 3-2 here in the top of the 6th. 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for Mount SAC. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Falcons. Coronado takes that in on the plate. LeDuc at first. Sotelo at second. Diaz at short. Bedoya at third. Williams in left. Caps in center. Marines in right, the defense for the Falcons. And behind the plate, Vicky Nahara. That's your defense for this Falcons softball team. Next pitch, high and away. Mount SAC batting .344 as a team overall. .527 slugging percentage. 24, now 25 home runs for the season. Shot down the third baseline. Foul ball.
And those 25 home runs help. And if they wouldn't have gotten number 25 today, they would not be in the lead.
That's true.
The old Earl Weaver three-bagger or 4-bagger.
Well, Cerritos thought they had it, and the umpire just disagreed politely. So Coronado heads over to first. Goris popped up to first, flew out to left. So the one we thought would be the big gunner has been quiet today. High, pop fly. Bedoya went back, got out of the way when Diaz said it belongs to me. So Goris has had problems getting the ball out of the infield in this game.
I was about to say, you have a player batting .600 and you've got her out 2 times in a row. The odds of getting her out one more time are not very good. But, hey, Eastless has done it. Now she just needs to get a couple more outs here.
Castaneda comes to the plate.
And it's kind of the same situation as when Mount SAC scored those runs, Mark.
Yeah.
Same set of cast of characters.
Snap throw to first. Not in time. Nice throw by Nahara. Vicky, a solid catcher for this Falcon team. Foul ball down the left field line. 962 fielding percentage for the Falcons. And of course, Nahara, 995 behind home plate. Fouled away. Islas taking her time. Throws that in the dirt. Runner's going. Throw down to second. Not in time. Runner steals second base. So Coronado goes. And the cannons go off to celebrate that stolen base. Lazy fly ball to center field, taken there by Caps. So Caps just settles underneath it, gets that for out number 2. Two down, runner at second, up by 1. We'll see a pinch hitter coming up. Desiree Bravo for Mount Sac.
And that's one thing, Mark, that we saw, it seemed to me at least, and maybe you and Corey saw something different, but Mount Sac seemed in that Chargers game, they were using everybody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're a deep softball team. Bravo's batting .400. Fouls that away.
Yeah, nothing like going to the bench and pulling out a .400 hitter.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, Ed, it goes at that thing. You're not just relying on 9 players. And if you have to go to 10 or 11, you know you're in trouble. Runner at second, 2 down, leading by 1. Isla freezes her on the inside corner. Pretty pitch. 0-2 pitch, 2 outs. Bravo waits, fouls it, straight back. Nahara goes to the screen and makes the catch. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. As we head to the bottom of the 6th, it's the Mounties 3, the Falcons 2 here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Ed Ford, Albert, I'm getting colder every minute, Robles, here on Sportsnet, USA.net. We could always have you run out center field and check on the camera or something like that. You know, that'd keep it warm. No?
When we were talking about all the players that were used by Mount Sac in that game against Cyprus, that same day, Cerritos College, the Falcons, who were playing a doubleheader here at home, but it wasn't against, they played more of a 3-way. They played against Santa Ana and LA Mission. That game that they played against Santa Ana, that ended up to be a 1-0 Santa Ana victory. Islas pitched, but the run she gave up was not earned. So basically, both pitchers went out there and shut out the other side. I mean, a lot of strikeouts in that game, so that was really a pitching gem on the part of both of those pitchers.
Yeah, and the thing that's interesting, Cody said too that her team, when I talked about the game, said they'd played so many games already that the girls basically were looking at her saying, we're a little tired, you know, and when you go against a quality pitcher like they do at Santa Ana. But again, this is a team, a young softball team for Cody that has just been inspiring to her as an educator and also inspiring each other when they step on the field. Nahara comes up. Big home run in the first inning to set the pace in this game. Down by 1 here in the bottom of the 6th. Two in a row. Mount Sac warming up people in the bullpen. Nahara steps out in front. Easy little pickup there by Coronado and goes over to first. Brings up Brooklyn Bedoya. Brooklyn had a hit in the 4th, but was stranded. Serena Navarrete came in for Pison. So Grace Pison started things off. Would be the winning pitcher. She was the pitcher of record when the 3-run home run was hit. Bedoya should be a foul ball. Came back up. Boy, she was in the box and hit her. Therefore, it's a foul ball, not an out. Fouls that one away again. So Bedoya just off, just a little bit. Can't catch up. 0-2, 1 out, down by 1 here in the bottom of the 6th. Looking for a way to scratch her way on base. Claw, scratch, sneak on. Little nubber over to Goris, over to third. Easy play by her.
And Mark, the first 2 Falcons have kind of grounded out in the same way by going after a very low pitch, just getting a little piece of the top of it, and not much of a challenge for the Mounties infield.
Yeah, 2 different style pitchers. Now you've got somebody who's more of a low ball pitcher where Pison was high all day long. So the designated player comes up here in the bottom of the 6th, trailing by 1. Guillen fouls it away.
Yeah, and it seems like that's really, her coming in has really made the Falcon hitters, they're just not really getting solid contact now.
Swings through that one. Unusual motion in the circle by Serena.
And remember, she did also pitch against the Chargers.
Yeah. And that right down the middle for strike 3. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base as we head for the top of the 7th. It's the Mounties 3, the Falcons 2 here on Sportsnet USA.net. Ed Ford, Albert Robles bringing you the action. Cerritos coached by Cody Murray, Bud Murray, Brendan Ashley, John Musselman, and Ashley Belamontes. And of course, when you flip it over to Mount Sac, it's Rubelina Rojas, who's off because she just had another beautiful baby. Jim Bowler is the designated coach right now for Mount Sac. Erica Eklund, Vicky Gutierrez are the coaches for them. You know, when you look at it.
So when we go to the win-loss records, so does Jim get? Did Jim get a win? Did Jim get 2 wins for the Cypress doubleheader? Do those go on his record as wins?
I would assume so, wouldn't you? I mean, he's the manager of record.
Yeah.
When he goes there. Excellent softball team, Mount SAC. Has been for years. You can go all the way back to the Kelly Ford days when she was there. A perennial winner.
Wait a minute. What? She only won, 4 state championships,
all.
I think it was, or was it 5? 4 or 5?
4, I think 4. Yeah.
And went to the state tournament every year, every year she was there.
Yeah, numerous times. Yeah.
But besides that.
And then she moved on to bigger and better things.
Well, they've been in the regionals. Cal State Fullerton a couple times under Kelly, I think 3 times. But the thing is, until something changes to where they can get out of the Western Regional all the time, and it's always the UCLA Regional, nothing's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
They need to be some sort of team where they end up sticking them, sending them back east to play.
Yeah, they have taken on UCLA, and they had an opportunity to beat UCLA the one time, too, and couldn't pull it off.
Couldn't pull it off.
Barbara starts things off for Mount SAC. 3-1 count on her. Playing center field for the Mounties today. Emily takes that one down low, so runner gets on base to start the top of the 7th. Up by 1. So Moran comes up, runner at first. See if Moran drops a sacrifice. Bedoya sneaks in just a little at third base. Charlotte Duke comes in at first. There's the bunt, drop down, nice backspin over to first in time. Pretty little sacrifice. And the runner advances.
Well, we see nothing but good bunting here today, Mark.
Yeah,
which
we
is
have.
normally what we see when we do teams of the caliber of Mount SAC, Cerritos, Long Beach, and Cypress College.
So runner at second, 1 out. Amisqua comes up. Catching today for the Mounties. Fly ball, right field. Here comes the throw. Throw to third, not in time. So nice catch out there by Marines. Throws it to cutoff. That was Sotelo. And then a throw to third. So now we've got a security run over at third base here in the top of the 7th.
Well, with 2 down, the Falcons definitely have to stop the Mounties here.
Play over at first, tag play at first to get the runner, and they do. So a nice play by LeDuc going against the speedster and just beating her to the plate.
Yeah, let's watch that one more time. As you can see, as Mark said, speed against infield speed, and not only getting to the bag first, but also applying the tag.
So we head to the bottom of the 7th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. Well, is it the last call for the Falcons? We shall see as they step up here, trailing by 1, 3-2 here on Sportsnet USA.net. If the Falcons lose this game. They go a game and a half behind Mount Sac. If they happen to win the game, like Ed Ford explained, then the Falcons go a half a game in front. So we'll look at the Mounties. Defensively, again, the Mounties have Navarrete in the circle, a Mesqua at catcher, Castaneda at first, Chacon at second, Coronado at short, Goris at third, Coronado in left, Barbara in center, Moran in right field. That's the defense that Cerritos has to try and beat, as they should start things off with Williams. We'll see if Cody brings up a pinch hitter. Now Williams is coming up to the plate and will bat for herself here in the bottom of the seventh on SportsNet, USA.net.
Leading off the bottom of the seventh inning for Cerritos, the left fielder number 27, Agassi Williams.
Williams dropped a sacrifice and struck out. Mount Sac corners are up with an early greeting. Goris at third. Castaneda at first. Slap shot through the hole. Tying run gets on here at the bottom of the seventh.
Like shooting billiards. And that's what was needed, Mark, because as you were mentioning how tight they were playing her. I mean, they were, you know, the circle and the rubber is only 44 feet, 46, 42.
42.
42.
Yeah, they moved it up. Albert Robles is going to check just to make sure.
Oh, I thought he was checking on what he's going to have for dinner or something like that.
So Michaela Torres comes up out of Sonora High School, La Habra. Freshman comes up.
I don't think he can figure it out. But with them playing that tight, that's what was needed.
North swings away, fouls that off. Michaela Torres. Playing in a few games so far for Cerritos. So she walks on over to talk to Cody. Cody's going to reassure her about what she's doing. Michaela hitting .267 this season.
43. You sure about that? Yep, 43. Because I remember when it was 40, and that kind of gave, I mean, when high schools were still, California high schools were still doing 40, kind of gave their pitchers, like it made them look a little better than they really were, and then they moved it back to 43 like the NC2A, and then things looked a little different.
Torres drops a bunt. They're going to call it foul ball, and boy, that would have been a beautiful bunt if it would have been fair, because the runner was standing at second when the ball got picked up.
Oh yeah, that one was deadened, and just spun slowly, twisting itself into the dirt.
Yeah, 14 and under pitch from 40 feet now. It's off the plate. So the mound's 43. 14 and under pitch from 40. 1-2 count. Tying run at first. go-ahead run at the plate. Torres drives it, line drive, flip the first, double play. So Torres hits a shot right at the defender. Chacon is standing there, and Williams is hung out to dry.
Yeah, not much you can do on that one. If you hit it, a shot like that, right at somebody, it's going to be out unless you really, really smoke it. And that line drive was hard hit, but it wasn't a smoking line drive.
No. And even if it was, as good as these two teams are defensively,
Right.
you would expect somebody to make a play on a ball, hit right at them. So the Falcons are down to their last outs. 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Mounties. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Falcons in a well-pitched ball game from the circle for both teams. Realize it's just that, that vortex in the power alley and left field is the difference in this game today so far. Diaz coming to the plate. Miranda Diaz, the shortstop for this Falcon team. Needs a base hit. Caps on deck. Down and away, 1-1's the count. Outfield deep for the Mounties. Want to keep everything in front of them in the outfield. Diaz will drop it anywhere if she can. Fouls that one away. So Diaz in the hole, 1-2. Navarrete looks, brings it home. High and outside, 2-2's the count. Quality softball, top-notch programs, and a 1-run game. Two and two. Down low.
Home plate umpire goes down to the first base umpire to see if it was a strike, if she committed herself, and she did not.
3-2. You'll take a walk here now. 3-2 pitch. 2 outs, trailing by 1, bottom of 7th. Strike 3. And the Mounties come away with a 1-run victory. 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Mounties. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Cerritos. And it was all about the long ball, Ed Ford, in this game. The home runs got them in front, and the home runs were that thing that allowed the Mounties to come away with a victory here on SportsNetUSA.net. Exciting game, Ed, between 2 teams that are quality teams here in California.
Certainly was, and it ended up being another 1-run game, a 1-run victory for one of these teams. The previous time they met, same thing, a 1-run difference between winning and losing. So if you're a Falcons fan, you have to say, hey, we hung in there with Mount SAC. Certainly, as you said, if you look at the RPI situation, This is not going to hurt the Falcons. But hey, you still want to come out and win. You don't want to, hey, great, we lost. That's not the attitude that Cody has, or most of the coaches that we deal with. So tough loss for the Falcons. Another win for Mount SAC, and as I was saying, they are the team to beat, and people have to prove that they can knock off Mount SAC. So everybody's got to ratchet things up a little bit more if they're going to keep the Mounties from getting to the state championship tournament.
Well, we'll see what happens when we come back tomorrow, as watching Cerritos rebound tomorrow against Ventura. But for today, it was Mount SAC coming away with a victory over the Falcons of Cerritos, 3-2 here on SportsNetUSA.net. For Ed Ford, for Albert Robles, and for the old guy, thank you for joining us in Cerritos College Softball here on SportsNetUSA.net.